So what do you think about just the rapid development of LLMs? If we could just like stick on that, it's still incredibly impressive, like with ChatGPT. Just even ChatGPT, what are your thoughts about reinforcement learning with human feedback on these large language models?
I'd like to go back to when calculators first came out or computers. And like I wasn't around. Look, I'm 33 years old. And to like see how that affected like society.
Maybe you're right. So I want to put on the big picture hat here.
Oh my God, a refrigerator? Wow.
The refrigerator, electricity, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, with the internet, large language models seeming human-like, basically passing their Turing test, it seems it might have really at scale, rapid transformative effects on society. But you're saying like other technologies have as well. So maybe calculator is not the best example of that, because that just seems like maybe calculator.
But the poor milkman, the day he learned about refrigerators, he's like, I'm done. You're telling me you can just keep the milk in your house? You don't need me to deliver it every day? I'm done.
Well, yeah, you have to actually look at the practical impacts of certain technologies that they've had. Yeah, probably electricity is a big one, and also how rapidly it's spread. Man, the internet is a big one.
I do think it's different this time, though.
Yeah, it just feels like
the niche is getting smaller.
The niche that humans,
yes,
that makes humans special.
Yes,
it feels like it's getting smaller rapidly, though, doesn't it? Or is that just a feeling we dramatize everything?
I think we dramatize everything. I think that you ask the milkman when he saw refrigerators, and they're going to have one of these in every home.
Yeah. Maybe, but boy, is it impressive! So much more impressive than seeing a chess world champion AI system.
I disagree, actually. I disagree. I think things like Mu0 and AlphaGo are so much more impressive because these things are playing beyond the highest human level. The language models are writing middle school level essays, and people are like, wow, it's a great essay. It's a great 5-paragraph essay about the causes of the Civil War.
Okay, forget the Civil War, just generating codex.
Oh.
So you're saying it's mediocre code.
Terrible.
But I don't think it's terrible. I think it's just mediocre code.
Yeah.
Often close to correct. Like for mediocre
That's
purposes.
The scariest kind of code. I spend 5% of time typing and 95% of time debugging. The last thing I want is close to correct code. I want a machine that can help me with the debugging, not with the typing.
It's like level 2 driving, similar kind of thing. Yeah, you still should be a good programmer in order to modify. I wouldn't even say debugging. It's just modifying the code, reading it.
Don't think it's like level 2 driving. I think driving is not tool complete and programming is. Meaning you don't use like the best possible tools to drive. Right? You're not like cars have basically the same interface for the last 50 years.
Yep.
Computers have a radically different interface.
Okay. Can you describe the concept of tool complete?
Yeah. So think about the difference between a car from 1980 and a car from today.
Yeah.
No difference really. It's got a bunch of pedals. It's got a steering wheel. Great. Maybe now it has a few ADAS features, but it's pretty much the same car. Right? You have no problem getting into a 1980 car and driving it. You take a programmer today who spent their whole life doing JavaScript and you put him in an Apple IIe prompt and you tell him about the line numbers in BASIC. Wait, but how do I insert something between line 17 and 18? Oh, well.
In tool, you're putting in the programming languages. So it's just the entirety stack of the tooling.
Exactly.
So it's not just like IDs or something like this. It's everything.
Yes, it's IDEs, the languages, the runtimes. It's everything. And programming is tool complete. So like almost if Codex or Copilot are helping you, that actually probably means that your framework or library is bad and there's too much boilerplate in it.
Yeah, but don't you think so much programming has boilerplate?
TinyGrad is now 2,700 lines, and it can run Llama and Stable Diffusion. And all of this stuff is in 2,700 lines. Boilerplate and abstraction indirections and all these things are just bad code.
Well, let's talk about good code and bad code. I would say, I don't know, for generic scripts that I write just offhand, like 80% of it is written by GPT. Just like quick like offhand stuff. So not like libraries, not like performing code, not stuff for robotics and so on. Just quick stuff, because your basic, so much of programming is doing some boilerplate, but to do so efficiently and quickly, because you can't really automate it fully with like generic method, like a generic kind of ID type of recommendation or something like this. You do need to have some of the complexity of language models.
Yeah, I guess if I was really writing, like maybe today, if I wrote like a lot of like data parsing stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't play CTFs anymore, but if I still played CTFs, a lot of like is just like you have to write like a parser for this data format.
Mhm.
Like I wonder, or like advent of code.
Mhm.
I wonder when the models are going to start to help with that kind of code. And they may. And the models also may help you with speed.
Yeah.
And the models are very fast. But where the models won't, my programming speed is not at all limited by my typing speed. And in very few cases it is. Yes. If I'm writing some script to just like parse some weird data format, sure, my programming speed is limited by my typing speed.
What about looking stuff up? Because that's essentially a more efficient lookup, right?
You know, when I was at Twitter, I tried to use ChatGPT to like ask some questions, like what's the API for this, and it would just hallucinate. It would just give me completely made up API functions that sounded real.
Well, do you think that's just a temporary kind of stage?
No.
You don't think it'll get better and better and better in this kind of stuff? Because like it only hallucinates stuff in the edge cases.
Yes.
If you're writing generic code, it's actually pretty good.
Yes. If you are writing an absolute basic like React app with a button, it's not going to hallucinate, sure. No, there's kind of ways to fix the hallucination problem. I think Facebook has an interesting paper. It's called Atlas. And it's actually weird the way that we do language models right now, where all of the information is in the weights. And the human brain's not really like this. We have like a hippocampus and a memory system. So why don't LLMs have a memory system? And there's people working on them. I think future LLMs are going to be like smaller, but are going to run looping on themselves and are going to have retrieval systems. And the thing about using a retrieval system is you can cite sources explicitly.
Which is really helpful to integrate the human into the loop of the thing, because you can go check the sources and you can investigate. So whenever the thing is hallucinating, you can like have the human supervision. So that's pushing it towards level 2 kind of driving.
That's going to kill Google.
Wait, which part?
When someone makes an LLM that's capable of citing its sources, it will kill Google.
LLM that's citing its sources, because that's basically a search engine.
Yeah. That's what people want in a search engine.
But also Google might be the people that build it.
Maybe.
And put ads on it.